Hi everyone and welcome to this seventh issue of our gas membrane installation bite-sized training for our MVQ Level 2 National Vocational Qualification, and I'm Neil Salvage and welcome. So today we are continuing on with our insights into the National Occupational Standards for preparing to install and Unit 612. And today's session is working to program and completion of works. So luckily we've got a very small unit today, so only two subunits in there, which is the demonstrate completion of works and state the purpose of work program. So as you can see, demonstrate completion of works, a little bit unusual in this early phase of preparing to install the gas membrane. Well, the reason it's raised here is it's having your understanding before you step foot on site of what are you required to do in completing that. So it's all the elements that form the final product, but as I will say in the next issue 8, is about contract information. So checking that you've got everything in place so you're doing it in accordance with the contract. Quite important. And again, 6.2, I'll cover the stating the purpose of the work program in a moment. So when we look at it, I've done a kind of crude route map really for the preparing section of our level 2. And even though I've got a start and a finish line there, the finish line is really the start point of actually installing the membranes and doing the activity of what we're putting the protection system in. So I've broke them down into some of the issues that we've previously gone through, A, B, C, D and E. So they would all form that route map for us as we go through to get us to the point that we can start membrane installation with everything in place and everything is on time and correct. Because there's nothing worse, if something fails in this preparing, it's going to knock on all the way through. Yeah. So hopefully that little diagram makes a bit of sense, and it certainly links up with some of the previous units that we've done through issue 2 and issue 4. Okay. So when we look at the 6.2, we've got state, so this is knowledge again. This is questioning the learner's understanding, but I would expect the learner to have a good understanding of what their record keeping requirements are. So in a preparing domain, that they will know what they have to fill in, what they need to be monitoring, looking at. Some of this is done by supervisors and passed down to the team. Some level 2s will be doing this, so liaison with the site manager. You'll be looking at maybe site programs of which plots and which times they hope to get different trades. So we can see a kind of basic example here of different colour codes for different occupations within plots. So that should be played out during the course. Some learners like to present these to me or explain them in the offices in the main contractor's office, just so we can see where they're going and they know when they're going to come back. The other thing that's required is the record keeping. So this could be from the very early stages. So arriving on site, one of the record keeping requirements could be checking that your RAMs are all in place and all correct to the task that you're doing and nothing's changed. The second one would be looking at the formation of the ground as well, accepting the subgrade of the plot. So if you're turning up on a site and it's not very good, you're not going to start installing on it. But there might be a record procedure because some verifiers might seek that you've actually signed off that you're happy to continue with works, or you might sign that actually we need to do some rectification, or the ground worker or the main contractor needs to appoint somebody to get the ground ready for you. So they're two examples of documents. And the third one, which we would hope to see, is the completion of works. So this could be a record of actually the whole plot finished, and you might record details in there, things as basic as where the site is, who the contractor is, who the ground worker is, who are the installers from your team, what methods of work did you employ, does it comply with your risk assessment and method statements, has the weather been conducive to putting membranes in. Some people do record the weathers and the temperatures because some of the welding could be affected by very cold weather and it's also very hot weather. And there's a multitude of other things that we could put in there as well. The membranes that you're using, the method of detailing, the method of seaming. So these could all be checkpoints, and this would be formulated by your operations managers, your contracts managers, and agreed at a pre-start that these will be completed and made available, because under the verification and Syria 735, the verifiers might call on some, if not all, of these documents as part of their verification package to pass forward in their inspection because they might not attend every site. And this is the reason for doing record keeping, that records will be made available by the specialist contractor, yourselves, so that they can look at that, because they might not come to the plot, but they will rely on you. And we've also got our photographic evidence in there as well, which is a popular one for most installers, getting some good photos of not everything you do, but a snapshot of the detail and the completed works. Then we've got the variations and day works. These are again like a fourth element that are hopefully agreed. There will be set, understandings between you and your client, or your company and their client, the main contractor, because things do change on site. Materials might change. Can you just go ahead and keep using the material that's changed? You might need confirmation here, so I've got material showing, but you also need to have a design approval or compliance with specification. There could be timing elements where things might be delayed, things might not be ready. Health and safety is another one that might play out that causes a delay. Some of them could be quite, either trivial, where something's got to be corrected before something goes ahead, and it delays you by an hour or two, or it could be something more significant, like a major accident or incident where the site could be closed down. So how are these variations played out? Because there's a time and a cost effect for you, for your company, your employer, but also for the site as well. So these are contract issues which you might be involved in just recording. And also the cost is a serious implication. When you start, for example, looking at a commercial building, you arrive and your expectations, as I will mention in the next issue, is about looking at drawings and possibly counting up how many stanchions you're going to detail to. You turn up with the expectation or the 4 rolls of self-adhesive in your van. When you get there, you find you've got 200 columns to do, and you'll actually need 50 rolls of self-adhesive. So suddenly you've got to make the call, because there's a cost implication there of providing the materials. There's a cost implication with the timing that you've got to do that work. So all these things must be looked at. Yeah. We've got the other one there is the design approval, and project changes, design changes, or something not ready. Everything has to be approved. You can't just go ahead on your own bat and do this. You need somebody in authority from the client, the main contractor, the architects, the engineers, the designers, to sanction that, sign it off, agree it. So that again can be quite a timely process. Yeah. So be mindful of that. And again, companies might have a standard procedure of recording day works or variations, anything that delays or any changes that come about that are beyond your control. Okay. So hopefully that was a very short unit, that one. I've actually done a double header this week, so I've got 2 issues coming out on the same date. Issue 8 is due out as well at the same time, so hopefully you can leap straight across to that one. But we'll be looking at complying with the given contract information, so looking at some of your method statements and how you're working using the equipment, etc. So how you're doing it on site complies with how your paperwork stacks up. And finally there's my contact information. If anybody would like to get in touch, give us a call, drop us an email, come and find us on Facebook through the Gas Membrane Installation United page. Always good to hear from you, and hopefully today's been helpful. And thanks again for joining us, and look forward to hopefully jump straight over to the next unit. And I'll see you again soon for the first insight into our Unit 613, which is installing gas membranes. Thanks a lot. See you soon. Bye now.